So I haven't left myself. When I pulled the engine out, I had it up on about 4 pallets. So I didn't really leave myself that much room to put the engine back in. I just have it on 2 pallets. But I'm going to give it a try anyhow. And I think that ideally, if I line everything up, it should just kind of plop right on. That's not going to happen. This thing's going to have to be jacked with a little bit. And then my helpers over here are going to have to be operating the lift, and then hopefully they won't get too overzealous with that and drop it down too fast and lose a finger or something. So let's start with that. What I can do here is take this, whatever, pretty heavy. Engine weighs about, with the subframe, I think I weighed it on one of our other pallet jacks, and it was like 760 or 780 pounds, and that's with all the crap attached to it. Pretty much did most of the stuff. All the stuff that's not on the engine I can do from the top fairly easily. And some of this stuff can be a pain in the neck. The biggest problem that I have is getting the steering shaft in here. I put these little plumb lines down. I don't know if that's really going to help me, but maybe it'll help me get closer to where I have to be. So I'm going to lift it up, pull the little lock mechanisms. Definitely talking old school here, but oh, and there's my coffee cup again. Yay! Now time for a sip. I need a GPS for my coffee cup because I'm always losing it. I put it somewhere and then okay. So bring it down. Try and line those plumb lines up a little bit there. We'll try that for now. Of course, I have to remember also to move this handle so I don't ruin my bumper. Okay. So this is kind of futile to do it this way because we'll be jacking around with this. This also here, I just put it, I think, I don't know if it's in reverse here, but hopefully it'll go right up through the hole. Didn't give me much trouble coming out, so, all right. Now I'm afraid. Okay, let's see how it's looking here. Well, Nick, how do those plumb lines look?
Well, it's low enough that.
Oh, they're no longer plumb lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they were pretty close.
Okay. Like I said, I think we're going to be screwing around with the engine a little bit. I think that was what I wanted there for just general placement. This will be amazing if it actually goes in. And I'm seeing a problem already because I'm not going to be able to lower this thing. See that it goes with my issue of doing everything twice. Okay, it's going to hit that. However, I think I have a solution for that. We're going to lift it up. Well, Mama didn't raise Tiffany's no brain surgeon here, I'll tell you that much. Actually, she did, it's just not me. So, the brain surgeon doesn't do this stuff. That's why he's the brain surgeon. He's smarter than to get involved with all this madness. Okay. But I mentioned that it helps to have a semi-industrial area out here where one can play. Engine up a little bit higher so that okay. A little bit awkward with the I'm kind of saying to myself, what I need to do sure that when I put these things on top of that, yeah, I think I'm good. Okay. Okay. Look at that. Just like downtown, huh? And even if the engine isn't sitting perfectly on the perfectly straight on the pallet or anything on the pallet, I can still wiggle it around to some degree. But I do want to get it in as straight as I can because that will at least give me the most. Let's see. Yeah, well, obviously not the ideal situation. It's really basically telling me nothing. So, okay. GPS, coffee cup. There we go. It did come out with the carburetors on it and a bunch of other stuff, but I prefer to do that when we're from the top side. It's looking okay, so we're going to give it a shot.
My carburetor still had the leather accelerator cups in them.
Really?
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff they used to use, but all right, we're going to come down a little bit and check it out. Okay, got a couple of inches clearance there. That looks pretty much like it might work.
Hard to say about the shifter.
Yeah, also the power steering unit. I think I'm going to end up just moving it over here. No, I don't. The frame looks like it's going to come. Wow, who knows? Trial and error, right? Okay, let's see what happens. Quiet, please. So if we hear something crunch, we'll know. How's my little arm doing here? Oh, you know what?
Yeah, you might want to come forward with the engine.
Okay.
You've got a big clearance now between the fan and the radiator. There, that's better.
Okay. down like 4 or 5 inches at a time, maybe 3 inches. All seems to be fairly good so far. Okay, got a lot of clearance on this side, or at least a half an inch on the distributor. Whatever you call that vacuum thing. Over here, we're really going to be close on the power steering unit, but as long as you're not hitting it, then you're cool. Something's moving it. Doesn't look too brutal, but let's find out what's hitting it. Interesting. Shifter looks like it's going to go up there pretty much just fine, I hope.
Yeah, I'd bring the motor forward just a tiny bit.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Good.
Can you swing? Oh, it's to the right. It needs to come, transmission end needs to come to the left.
Needs to go this way or this way? This way.
That way.
Okay.
But you really, well, no, you're going to scratch up your shifter.
Okay.
So we need to,
Oh, I see what you're.
we need to pull these wheels to the left. Do you have a come along or something where we can, it's just, oh. No.
Oh, you know what we can do? Not exactly what we can do. Other than that shifter thing, it looks okay?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The entire transmission is slightly to the right.
Sure.
So if we can could take a hammer and just knock the pallets to the left a little bit,
Yeah.
or if you just grab it, that would work. There. Beautiful. And that's it.
Okay.
Now it's centered.
Okay. Now I will definitely hit the power steering unit.
Oh, it's leaning to the left. Oh.
And that.
Do you have a small scissors jack you can put under the pallets on that side to tilt it?
That would be too easy.
Yeah, your head's hitting on the body here.
Really?
Yeah, so you need to come forward with the engine slightly.
Okay.
Good, good, good.
Well, if that clears, it's going to be darn close to a miracle, but...
Yeah, that looks actually pretty good.
Okay, so we're going to lower it down. What I'm really looking for is just seeing if there's any engine, movement.
Yeah. Clear, clear, clear. Looks good. All right, we're very close. Okay, the shifter boot is compressing a little bit, but that's not too big a deal. Just needs to go forward. There we go. I got it.
Nice.
1/4 of an inch. That's all it took.
Okay.
Okay, how are your bolts lining up?
I think I need to just come back about 1/2 inch. How's that look? That look like that'll work for you? Coming back 1/2 inch?
Yeah, the seal's covering anything I can see,
Oh.
so it all looks good.
What do you think, Nick?
Looks good to me.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Now, the beauty about this is we have a little bit of a adjustment we can do with the pallet jack. So what I'm trying to do is line up this hole right here with it's kind of like a, and still has to go in about not even a half an inch, but maybe a half an inch. What I'll do here is lower this. It's got to go back a little, just a little bit more.
The front needs to come up because the back is already in place. The shifter's as high as it can go.
Okay, good. So what I want to do is, if I get this, it's obviously not. Oh, this should work just fine. Okay, so I'll lower it down about a half an inch. You can see where that little.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that just did it. Moved something a little bit.
Yeah, this side's in contact, the other side is not.
Right. Not too worried about that. Now that thing is giving me the funk here because I just have to.
Motor forward.
There we go.
Ooh.
Nice, nice. Okay, right, so there's two shorter ones and two longer ones. The longer ones are going to go in here, the shorter ones are going to go in here. I'm sure they're the same size thread, but... So the short ones go up front because there's a little bit more you can play with, I guess, with that. Okay, now if I can get the other long one in on the other side, then it should be pretty much straightforward, right?
Yep.
We haven't crunched anything yet, have we?
I
No?
don't think so.
Okay. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay, so, and it can twist if we don't get it right. So, I'm not dropping the car down. I'm gonna lift the pallets up.
Okay.
So, if you can take that bolt and hold it right up there, and then as it, gets in there a little bit,
Yeah.
then just start to screw it in a little
Okay,
bit.
so you just lift it so I can cleanly catch a thread.
Yeah,
and then
exactly. Then we'll play around a little bit
Yeah.
more. Any luck?
We're about a 1/4 inch away from catching a thread, a half, 1/4 inch.
And is it actually moving?
Well, I stopped moving, so like it's catching on something else.
Right here. Let's see if I can get the other one in on the other side.
In fact, we lifted off the lift by a 1/4 inch over here.
Yeah,
So
that's not cool.
yeah, so something else caught and is lifting the car. Oh, I've got one. I've got a thread in there.
Okay, hang on for a sec.
It's barely hanging.
I don't wanna.
Got another couple hand turns.
There we go.
And as much as I can turn it, but
Okay.
that's good.
Would you go on to the other side? There's two more bolts, slightly shorter, that would go in those front ones.
No pain, no gain.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh. Can't. I don't know if I got a thread, but
Yep.
I don't know if I got it again.
Okay, that's all right.
It's
You know what we'll do is, I think that's a 17 or a 19. We'll kind of go up there easy with it. Now, don't worry, any forum members. I'm not going to strip the threads going in here. Okay, we're just going to. Well, we're not. We're going to try not to. See, I told you I was going to be gentle. Okay.
Wasn't in.
So here's what we want to do is let's try and get this thing in there a little bit more. Okay, go ahead, crank that down. A little more. work. Got it. Held up there. Should be able to see right. It's a beautiful thing. Going in nice and easy. Okay, fellow forum members, please. I'm not. No forces going on here. Okay, I don't want to be criticized for that. Cool. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of lower the, since we seem to have both started, everything seems to be somewhat okay. We'll
Tighten those up on this side.
yeah, get a couple of turns on them. And of course, this one is doing real well because it's sitting flush, but that's okay. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go this way with this. Okay, let's just take a look at that transmission, see how it's doing there. Nicey nice. Okay, now, the only thing I'm a little worried about is since the engine is really only held onto the frame by two donuts, what we really need to try and do is get the transmission put up there correctly, at least with the two bolts. It's not a heavy thing, it's more of a leverage thing. Lower this a little, which will lower the transmission's coming down, I'm assuming. Yes.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Which is cool because that'll give me a chance to, give me some space to wiggle it around.
At this point, you're clear of the lift, aren't you?
Except for the transmission is sitting on a couple of wooden blocks.
Right.
Those blocks are, I can.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be able to lift it by hand.
Exactly.
Something
And then
lift
all
the
I
hand
got.
and screw it in. Yeah.
I got to drop these things in. These are the little bolts that hold that in. And no, they're not new. I just cleaned them up and painted them because that's me being anal. Or some people would say not anal enough about stuff like that. Whenever I crawl underneath these things, I always like to keep an eye on where the jack might have moved. And it looks pretty safe, relatively. Ugh.
Assume the position.
Okay, and it looks like I'm really not in a bad way here with the transmission. I can slide these bolts in. I have plenty of adjustment on the. I did, by the way, I did. Famous last words. I did. Yeah, really. I thought I did clear these things out a little bit, so I could get these stupid bolts in here. Let's see. But obviously not enough. So that's what happens. Get some freaking spooge in there.
Undercoating and grime.
Yeah, I tried to clean them out and not get the undercoating in there, but oh wait a minute. I see why. I see why that's not working. It's got to go in and twist, which is probably difficult. Okay, there we go. I guess it wasn't as difficult as I had thought. There we are. Nice, nice. Okay, now, yeah, I could be He-Man-ish and try and do that, but it's probably just as easy to. Would you do me a favor and what is this?
Okay, lever.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, if you get that lever, please, and 2 blocks of wood. Oh, I got a much better plan for you. Okay. Yeah, I can hold that for a little while.
And I can. Okay. I think these have like big washer and then a wavy washer. Just put that on.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I can do the like one side washer, next side washer. This is like not very comfortable, but that's you know, it's just let me give you that, and take this, and couple on there. You grab, watch yourself. Come to the other side. I could have put a jack underneath here. We could have done things the easy way. Good?
Threaded.
Beautiful. Okay. Coming up. Alright. Coming down just a hair. How's it look?
Very clean.
Besides, you know, relatively unsafe, but
You got the big bolts in.
yeah, okay. Man, a little sweat there. This is the one I was a little worried about, and it is a 13. Crank that puppy up a little bit. Now, I will snug them up, but I'm not going to like crank them down because I'm sure I'll be shifting stuff around and trying to get the drive shaft and everything to lay in there correctly before I, at least I'm fairly certain that it's going to whatever. I did not reseal the transmission. I did not, you know, of course I drained it, refilled it, did all that stuff, new clutch plate, all the nonsense in there. I did put the new pilot bearing in the kind of upgraded one, but generally speaking, you know, if the thing was working when I put it in, if I jacked with it, it wouldn't be working when I did it again. So you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff that's not undercoated and not like cleaned up pretty back here. Well, a couple reasons. You know, mainly I want to get the engine in. Everything that's related to that is pretty much coated. But also I need to get the damn thing on its wheels because I need to move it. And so
We didn't hook up the steering either.
yeah, that was the wrong thing to do, Pete. Okay. However, I think I can do that from the. That wasn't smart, and I like prepared for it and everything. But you know what? It can be done. The steering wheel, the steering column does go back. It can be pulled out of the way, and that thing plopped in and then pushed forward. So thank you for, you know, I would have been like trying to steer it and wondering what the hell's going on. Other than that, and it would keep with my
Doing everything twice.
my philosophy of doing everything twice, and now that I know it can be done fairly easily, why not do it again? The next thing that we'll do on this, which is really easy, and is put the struts up, which are over here, and I usually just have to cut down these studs because the spacers will come out. So I'll either get new studs, which are nothing, or cut these down or whatever. But the interesting thing about Carl springs is that on the front stock setup, there's really not a lot of, you almost don't even need a spring compressor. Okay, which kind of makes me, I mean, I know they work, I got them in my car, there's no problem with them, but it kind of, it's kind of a little scary when you think about it because you can, once that bolt comes up, kind of wiggle this around. So I do use a spring compressor, but at least have it on there for safety. But you don't really, there's not that much at-rest pressure here. But I would put these up, and then there's a little bit of, wiggle room, and then you just kind of slide the other thing underneath, put the bolts in, and then you can put your bearings on and your wheels, and life is swell, supposedly. With that, guys, thanks. Minor problem, I'll play with that later, see what we come up with, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. It wasn't as entertaining as I wanted it to be, but we'll give it a shot, see what it comes out.